Good morning. The winds of uncertainty blew upon the lives of 7 men in November of last year. At 8 o'clock in the morning of what should have been a typical sunshine and trade wind day, those 7 men were getting ready to begin their day of work. By 8:15, they were all dead, their bodies bullet-riddled and bleeding, massacred by a man with a gun.
This morning, with those words, Honolulu prosecutor Peter Carlisle started his opening statements in the trial of Byron K. Uyesugi, who is charged with the murders of 7 fellow employees at the Xerox building. Uyesugi is also charged with the attempted murder of an 8th colleague who escaped despite being shot at. Carlisle proceeded to paint a picture of the day, each victim of the crime and of the defendant Uyesugi. Carlisle used a slideshow and graphic descriptions to illustrate much of his speech.
The man with the gun was also a person who serviced Xerox machines in Honolulu. A disgruntled employee and co-worker, he decided who would die, who would live, when and where they would die, and how they would die.
Defense attorney Rodney Ching read from a laundry list of incidents involving Uyesugi's past mental problems, often describing shadowy figures and stabbing, poking pains in his head, which Uyesugi could only ease by stabbing back.
Finally, the evidence will show, through the testimony of the defense medical experts, that Mr. Uyesugi was suffering from a serious mental illness on the date of the shootings, and that as a direct result of this serious mental illness, he lacked substantial capacity to appreciate the wrongfulness of his conduct. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Mr. Uyesugi is counting on your fair judgment to weigh all of the evidence carefully and fairly. At the end of trial, we will be asking you to consider one of 3 verdicts. Either not guilty if you find that the state has not proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt, not guilty by reason of insanity if you find that the defense has proven the insanity defense by a preponderance of the evidence, or a verdict of manslaughter if you find that extreme mental or emotional disturbance caused the acts.
Ching also said that Uyesugi believed that his co-workers were all part of a large, complex conspiracy to discredit him and force him from his job. Ching said that while Uyesugi had been under a doctor's care for a delusional disorder, he had never completed his treatment. From a medical definition of the disorder, Ching noted that the disorder gets progressively worse without treatment. Court adjourned before lunch and was expected to reconvene for a 1 p.m. jury field trip to the Xerox building. Uyesugi was not expected to accompany the group. Circuit Judge Marie Milks is presiding over the trial, which is expected to run for 6 weeks. This is Blaine Ferguson reporting for StarBulletin.com.